Hey guys, I thought I'd do another update. I usually do one every 2 weeks, and this is my October 29th DVD update, showing the things that I've gotten over the last 2 weeks. Some of them I've gotten a little longer ago, but I forgot to show you before. And the first movie I'm going to show is David Arquette's, I believe, the first ever film he's directed. He might have done something else, but I don't think he's done anything else. When it comes to directing, acting, he's done a lot of things, is The Tripper. I actually got this out early, like 2 weeks or so before it was out. I found it early at Best Buy. Watched it a while ago, but I actually was very impressed with it. I didn't even know he had interest in these kind of movies, and it's a real throwback to 80s slasher kind of movies. They said that Hatchet was a throwback to like the rebirth of 80s. I think this is far more of a rebirth of the 80s movies than Hatchet. I hope they make another one of these, and it stars Jason Mewes and Paul Reubens is in it. It was very well done. I think you should check it out. And it's one of the few, I believe it's from the After Dark. It's one of the better of the After Dark. I don't even think this release mentions that it's from it because a lot of the After Dark films aren't so good. And the other things that I've gotten, I have got a bunch of stuff, is Clockwork Orange in HD, which absolutely looks outstanding. And I also got The Shining in HD, which is probably one of the best movies I've seen so far in HD. And I know that's surprising for the age of it, but they really did a good job. Warner Brothers did a great job remastering it. I couldn't believe how, especially the sound and the picture, how good they did with a movie that old. When even some of the new releases don't even look that good. And I also got Tales from the Crypt, Season 7. I don't know, I never watched these live when they were on because I don't think I had HBO till after it was over. This season, I felt like some of the seasons, the later ones, didn't have as many good episodes on them. It was weird. Like the early ones I really liked the episodes. They kind of went down. Of course, there's some really good ones on there. Some of them I haven't liked. And this this is a British import. So if you don't have a region-free player or an ability to play PAL discs, you couldn't play this unless you bought like one of those cheap DVDs and then you put a code in to make it region-free. But I bought Two Fat Ladies. And I'm sure not one of you on YouTube probably owns this, but I absolutely love that show. It was on Food Network years ago. I think it's from 1997. And I always liked it. When I started watching it again, I slightly cried. It was like one of those shows that I just always loved watching. It's got like that kind of real positive feel to it. And if any of you have seen it, you probably know what I mean. Even though most of the food that they cook I really wouldn't want to eat, because it's kind of odd stuff. And a lot of the stuff they cook is the kind of food you'd never see anyone else cooking. Like you'd never see it on Food Network. It's like odd dishes with like little quail birds and stuff. But it was a funny show, especially them riding around that motorcycle and going through the country and picking mushrooms. It's great. Another one that I got that I've been wanting to buy for a long time. I saw it at a store years ago and didn't buy it. Then it went out of print. And recently I found it online for about $15, Surviving Gilligan's Island. And this was the sort of the TV movie showing about what it was like to film that show. And it wasn't like an unauthorized kind of thing. It actually had Bob Denver and, Don Wells and Russell Johnson, the two who played, Mary Ann, the professor, and Gilligan. They actually came back, so it's not like one of those, like the Three Stooges one that wasn't really authorized. This was actually an authorized story of what it was like to do that show. And I actually kind of liked the film because Gilligan's Island, I admit to people, a lot of people don't like when I say it, but I admit that it is my all-time favorite show of all time. And a lot of people think that's funny, but it's the truth. And the other ones that I bought used. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this movie. And I especially didn't want to buy the HD version for $35. So I found The Reaping for $9.99. That's about as much as I'm going to pay for that. And I bought it at like Record and Tape Traders. I just wanted to see it. And I don't rent. So I wanted to be able to see it, so I just bought it there. So I haven't seen it yet, so maybe I'll mention it later in one of the next week one and to say what I thought. And then I never really liked this much. It was about $1. So Wagons East. It was one of John King. It was John Candy's last movie. It was kind of depressing to watch, but I sort of been wanting to watch it again. And I'm a fan of Richard Lewis. You know, most of you would probably know him if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's Larry David's friend on the show. And recently, about a week ago, I decided I'm noticing with HD and Blu-ray. I had an HD player, but I'm noticing so many DVDs not coming to it. They're all going with Blu-ray. So I decided I bought a PS3 for like less money than the Blu-ray player. It's about 100 and something less than a regular Blu-ray price. And you have the ability to play PS3 games, although I don't really play many games. I might play the new Simpsons game, just because when I was a kid I used to always play all the old ones. I used to play, I love the arcade one. Then I used to play that Bart versus the Mutants and whatever that was called. I always could never get through it, but because it was really difficult. If you watch the Angry Video Game Nerd review, the problems that he was having were pretty much the same ones that I remember having. And the Blu-rays that I bought, the ones that I bought at Suncoast, which I didn't realize is not really a good place to buy Blu-ray. I don't buy much from there, but I was there and I wanted to get some to watch. And I realized the prices kind of were shit compared to, I'll tell you what else I bought in a minute, but I bought Terminator 2, which didn't look as good as I was hoping. It looked okay, and it doesn't have any of the features from the old DVD. It just had like these old commentaries. I was thinking it would have had at least something on it. This looked amazing in Blu-ray, the Meet the Robinsons, which actually was a pretty decent movie. I don't like a lot of kids stuff, but I thought this was pretty cool. It had sort of a Jetsons fan, and I was always a fan of the Jetsons. And I bought Eyes Wide Shut, which I mainly bought it because it has some documentaries on Stanley Kubrick's lost films. And those of you who don't know, this version, the HD version, and the regular DVD is the uncensored cut of the film, which has never been released on DVD. On the DVD, they would mask certain parts out. They would have like a woman standing in front of a sex shot that they couldn't use, too explicit. So this is like, for once, they're actually releasing the version that's not all masked out. You can hardly even tell that it was masked out, but I read online all about that. And I also bought Dawn of the Dead, which looks pretty good for, what is that, 1978? I'm pretty good with dates. I don't usually forget. And that was 78, and that looked pretty good for a movie that was probably not shot in the best stock of film. And I have heard bad things about the Day of the Dead one, so I'm not sure if I will or will not buy that. And this is where I bought the better priced ones. I found at Walmart, of all places, Scary Movie, the Blu-ray, for only $18.98, which is $10 less than what Suncoast sells it for. And I bought Hostel 2, which I wanted to just watch it again. I wasn't like a favorite. I liked the first one a little better, but this was only $25. I'm sure you're thinking that's a lot, but for Blu-ray standards of a new movie, that's $10 less than Best Buy and Suncoast. Best Buy sells for $35. So surprisingly, if you want Walmart, and this actually goes for HD discs at Walmart. So if you want HD discs, and they're pretty much a mainstream title, which basically all Blu-ray and HD are, because there's not many places selling them, so they all just get every copy of everything. So if you want like a new movie like Hostel, Mr. Brooks, or any of that, go to Walmart, and they're at least $10, some were $15 less. So it's a good place, which I don't like supporting Walmart much, but if it's going to be $10 less, which is significantly different, I'll buy them there. So I hope you like the update, and check back in 2 weeks, and you can check the Cool Duder account too for new Don and Murphs. And I'm also going to be doing reviews that are coming up, probably be up today or tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about one about horror films, one about comedies and one about cult films, one about TV, and I'll just be talking about like my favorite ones, so like my favorite horror, my favorite occult, sort of give you an idea of some of the ones to get if you're trying to get a movie on a specific category. Okay, thanks for watching.